Okay, so let's continue back from what I was saying. So if you group what you're doing, you can just get a kind of you can get a kind of gist of what is it that you're actually making, right? So in my game, I am not really that reliant on quick time, on physics, and that means this will be a great game to make into multiplayer. However, the spawning and despawning of flowers, for example, they happen in these fields, and that would mean that the server will have to send stuff to client. So why do I have to think about all of that now when I don't even have a finished game, right? So if I were to publish after the end of me making my game, if I were to be like, okay, I'm gonna make a chat system, the add-on system, and stuff that look like Roblox. I'm gonna pack them all into one add-on and put that on GitHub. Okay, what have I achieved, right? At the end of the day, you're not going to achieve what you think you want, you know? Because the thing that Roblox relied on is the fact that it had those central servers and the fact that people could log in at any time and open an instance of your game, and then Roblox would provide them a server. And that's something that I don't think you will be able to do. I'm not being depressive. I'm not trying to turn anyone down from this. I'm just saying this is why I think you should instead focus on the systems of your game. There are some limitations in Roblox Studio. If you compare it to Unity, especially, probably also Godot, that the camera is weird. You only have your camera that's stuck to the player. You can't just delete your player model. You can't just walk around with a camera. The viewport idea is underutilized because people didn't know, like they just develop and they're like, oh my god, this camera sucks in comparison to Unity's camera, therefore what am I to do? I don't know how many Roblox developers came from Unity, but that's what I imagine, right? Yeah, so I feel like I feel like there was just too much that was taken for granted. And my game, since I'm mostly, it's essentially just the building system, a glorified building system, connection lost. And as you can see, you can only do things if you don't have a tiniest bit of internet issues. And so that's funny. And this is another reason, this is perfect timing to be like, yep, this is exactly why we need to work on open source. Because this connection loss thing, imagine if I'm using a version of Unity that is unsupported, I can't even get through the login screen, right? So I'm not making this video to glaze Unity. I'm in fact, this is me trying to glaze Godot. The thing about Godot being unable to render a lot of stuff, if I find a fix for that, or if someone who's listening to this ramble knows anything about how to let Godot just not have performance issues rendering stuff that I could render on any other thing, that would also be nice. I'm trying to find ways to reduce the file sizes of my stuff in Godot as much as possible. So if that is creating less scenes, but I've noticed that does cause issues because if I go into Godot, hold on, actually let me pause and show you this. Okay, so I'm just going to show you this as an example, right? It is easier to code in Python. I will never say that C# was easier. That's not something I'm saying. But look at this. I would have assumed in my first iteration of creating the item save that I would just copy, just as I do in my other code here, the growth manager or whatever. I just go inside the scene with everything and I copy the entire scene into a packed scene that is in somewhere inside the script. I don't know how it works. Let me Control FQ free. Yeah. So this is what I do, right? I take the instance, and you have to instantiate it. And then I go look inside it, right, for plant. And then to go look inside it, then I have to do copy it and put it into the right thing, and then delete the whole thing, right? So when I was first creating the save file, I did the exact same thing, and then I realized that that was causing huge performance issues, because every single time that I'm putting an item in and out of the storage, I was doing the entire thing. If I go to my inventory script, I could show you that I have a refresh function, and it goes through everything. So I'll just, for now, so that I can kind of have a chronological order in explaining this. I have hidden function after load. So for every item, I call the function individually, right? That's already something that's, uselessly using more CPUs when I could have just done it in tandem, but whatever. So right now I'm applying item data dictionary. Okay. So I have to recreate the entire thing. Instead of just calling the item from where I think it exists, right? That doesn't make any sense, because in my Roblox code, that's exactly what I did. What I did is exactly what I described. So I had a toolbox inventory replacer, and where is my server script server? Where's my load? Tool save. Right. Forget the bouquet thing, right? Forget the bouquet thing. So ignore the special tools, right? So right now, if they die, I basically do the entire save load thing, right? And this adjust is similar to that refresh function I said that you're going to do the entire, you're gonna go through the whole thing again. What I do is I don't just save them somewhere, right? I just put them there. See, local tool, library, find first child. And then if not, then flowers, because I had the seeds first, and then can I make this bigger? It's very small. Why do I make this bigger? So it says here local tool. I've just removed the bouquet stuff because that was not finished. Local tool equals library. Find first child with the list of the index thing. If not tool, then and then flowers. The reason why is library was for seeds. So I already am using my server storage, right? My replicated storage in order to find it and then clone it and then put it in the backpack, right? Library, it says here, replicated storage, wait for child tools. Flowers, replicated storage, wait for child flowers, because I had named the seeds folder tools. And this is what I wanted to do, and I can't even do that. I can't even do something logical. I have to recreate it by having a dictionary, which is an array of strings, or array of strings and ints, or whatever. And then at the end of that, I go and find the texture using a resource loader, and I have never used it for any other purpose, because this is a 3D game, and why do I have to know so much about 2D when making a 3D game? So that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, you have to find creative reasons to get around Godot's restrictions, and you have to find creative reasons to make this worth it, right? Otherwise, you're just going to watch every other YouTube video talking about how Roblox has created a bad thing, but you're so stuck because when you watch that, you're going to be like, oh yeah, Roblox, I've thought about Roblox, so I'm going to go play Roblox. So I'm going to go look at everything else the developers have made. And I think that what you need to do at this point is completely avoid Roblox, right? Um, I can't wait for the day where I've completely finished all of my systems and then I can just uninstall Roblox Studio, right? And I think that that's something that we should work towards. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm that's kind of what I'm going through, and one of the things that really made the save load hard. But eventually, what does it write into this, right? It writes a dictionary into a JSON file, and it's very easy to read. You just have to open your Windows user folder and find it, right? So this isn't even going to be the last iteration of the save file, right? Yeah. Where is it? See, it gets the data of type dictionary, which is not even a real data type, but whatever. Yeah, so I don't know. That's kind of all I have to say on this topic. I'm not going to try and react to every single thing, but my current progress in the game is slow anyway, so I thought I'll just add these two videos to my list of YouTube videos. You know, why not? But yeah, thanks for watching then, and I'll see you later.